Lately, it feels like time is moving faster than ever. My days are completely full, yet I still feel like I'm constantly behind. So this week, I'm going to try and figure out why life feels so rushed and whether it's actually possible to get some of my time back. Good morning. So, this past weekend on our way home from church, my husband and I were chatting, and I asked him, do you feel like time is going by really, really fast? And yeah, do you just feel like it's getting faster and faster? And he was like, yep, totally do. I feel like we have a never-ending to-do list and not enough time to get it done. And I totally agreed with him. And I said, like, not only do we have a never-ending to-do list separately and together, but it also feels like I have things now that are just not getting done. Or if I am getting things done, I feel panicked or rushed when I'm doing those things. And I've been racking my brain about why is this happening? Because not a lot has changed in our lives. Like, we've had the same jobs for quite some time. Yes, we've been promoted here and there, and so responsibilities at work have gone up, but it's mostly confined to work hours. So I'm like, where has my time outside of work, where does it go? It's just gone. So first step in figuring this out, because since I can't just figure it out on my own, we're doing a time audit today. So I'm literally keeping track of every part of my day today and figuring out, just getting on paper, what does my day look like? How am I spending my time? And then once I have a full day from when I get up to when I go to sleep, I'm going to put that into AI and see what suggestions AI has for me. Because I I feel like I used to have so much time to spend with my horse, to work out, to keep my house clean, to do admin tasks at home, like paying bills and keeping up on our finances and spending time with my husband and also just relaxing. And I feel like if I have time for any of those, I'm very lucky. And when I am doing those things, like I said, I feel very rushed. So the goal this week is to kind of figure out, where the heck is my time going? Because I know, the routine I have right now, I know is limited. I'm having a baby in September, so obviously that's going to turn everything on its head. But in the meantime, I would like to know, what I can do to help this situation. But for right now, this time of my day is kind of locked and loaded. Drive to work, work 8 hours. So that's where we're headed. I'm home from work. I went out and spent some time with my horse, and now I'm just gonna make our lunches and get supper rolling for the evening. So I've been auditing my time all day, and honestly nothing surprised me so far. I feel like my life is very regimented, especially on work days. So I'm very curious after today, when I put my day into, probably put it into ChatGPT, just to see what do you think, what am I doing wrong here? Because today, for example, I feel like I've been so busy and just can't take a breath. Work was busy, so yes, for my time audit, I just put from 8 to 4 I'm at work, but within that there's so much chaos that by the time I got home this afternoon, I was a frazzled mess. And that might be pregnancy hormones just kicking my butt, but I was a frazzled mess. I got outside and just was grumpy and did a grumpy outdoor walk and I feel a bit better now, but I'm just I can't breathe. There's too much stuff going on. So I'm very curious to see what ChatGPT is going to say. I'm gonna finish my day, and like I said, I'm gonna track everything up until the time that my head hits the pillow and lights go out. We'll put it into ChatGPT tomorrow and kind of see what kind of feedback I'm gonna get, because like I said, I don't know. Like, do I need to cut things out? Do I need to change order of things? Do I need to just like do this weird gymnastics of multitasking? I don't know. And maybe I just need food. So I'm gonna stop blabbing and make some supper. I found this enchilada dinner kit in the cupboard. I guess I should check to make sure it's not expired. Nope, we're good. So this is what is on the docket for supper, with probably a salad. And we will continue with our evening. So as I mentioned yesterday, I did an audit of my time throughout the day from the time I got up to the time I went to sleep, which wasn't honestly that big of a project to do because my work days are pretty consistent day over day. So I kind of knew what my day was going to look like. I just had to keep tabs on like how long things were exactly taking me and what I was doing during those times. And so I kept a running list of my day as the day went on. And then this morning I went to ChatGPT, and what I did is I kind of gave a preamble of this is what I'm struggling with and just what's stressing me out. And then I copied in that time audit and asked ChatGPT for thoughts, feedback on what I have going on. And honestly, I really appreciated the response that I got back from ChatGPT. I'm not going to go through the whole thing right now, but close to the end of the response, ChatGPT asked me a hard question, and it asked, if your obstetrician asked you to cut one thing out of your life right now for the remainder of your pregnancy, what would it be? And the reason ChatGPT asked me that is because it said, you know, you've built a very disciplined, structured life. Like you get a ton done, like even before 7:30 in the morning, like more than the average person does. And that's the problem. Like you don't have any downtime. I think it said I had like 15 minutes of downtime in my day yesterday. It's like, no wonder you feel like you have no time and you're stressed out and you feel like you can't breathe. And that's why ChatGPT was like, if your doctor was asking you to cut something out, what would it be? And I'm gonna be honest, my initial reaction to that question was, oh, I don't like that question. And also, I don't know, because I was honestly coming at this from wanting to try and add more things in because I feel like my to-do list is not getting done, like wanting to figure out how to do that, as opposed to cutting things out and going in the opposite direction. So I'm like, I told ChatGPT, I don't know how to answer that question. So that's definitely going to have to be something that I'm going to have to focus on, is like, obviously what you're doing is starting to get overwhelming. You're getting tired as you get further into your pregnancy. Something needs to give. And I'm just going to go over to my computer because once I kind of chatted with ChatGPT about that, it gave some experiments, I think they called it, about things I can try to deal with everything that I feel is overwhelming and just all-encompassing and stressful. So experiment number 1 was to find my mental clutter. So it said, like, every time I have a thought of like oh, I need to remember this, or I should do this, write it down. So not necessarily acting on them, but just writing it down and just capturing them so they're not bopping around in your mind. And I'm very well aware that, yeah, if I don't write things down, like things I need to remember, things I need to do, it drives my mind absolutely nuts. So this experiment will for sure help. It says, I wouldn't be surprised if you have 40 to 60 little mental reminders floating around. That mental load can make life feel much more rushed than the clock alone would suggest. So that is definitely an experiment I can do. Another thing that ChatGPT mentioned is how much I transition during the day, especially in the morning. It's like from this to this to this to this. And so experiment number 2 is to look for transition fatigue. And I'm not really sure how to notice that. I feel like I'm just fatigued, period. It's like, is this related to how many times I'm switching tasks? I don't know. But it said, just notice how many times your brain has to shift gears. So I might have to ask for more details on how to kind of do that experiment, because I don't know how to minimize or decrease the transitions that I have during the day. It's just kind of how things are. I think earlier on it did mention like batch tasking things. I just don't know how I would fit that with my day-to-day, so we might have to workshop that with ChatGPT. Experiment number 3 is probably going to be hard, and it's to add one intentional pause. And it specifically says no phone, no YouTube, no reading, no chores. It says just sit on the porch or watch your horse or just have a cup of coffee, whatever it is, and just something restorative that you're not being productive. Which like hurts my soul a little bit, because I know that's part of my problem. Like, I can't not be doing something. I feel like if I have a spare moment, I need to be doing something, and I think that's probably why I'm in this pickle in the first place. So definitely this one I definitely need to do for sure, is just find somewhere to pause during the day. And the 4th experiment kind of ties into what I was talking about with that question that it asked about like what I should be cutting out. So this one is distinguishing want to from I have to. So obviously I must go to work, and commuting is part of that. I need to eat. Things I choose to do would be like this. I choose to do YouTube. I choose to read while I'm eating my breakfast instead of just enjoying my breakfast. Things like that. So it says the goal isn't to stop doing these things. It's just reminding myself that I have agency. I do not need to do every single thing that I am currently doing. So that's going to be hard, because right now I feel like I have to do all the things that I'm doing. Even YouTube, part of my reasoning behind this is I really would like my channel to be monetized and for this to be another source of income, kind of like a bit of a side hustle, especially as I'm heading into maternity leave. I would like that bit of an additional source of income, and it just adds pressure, right? So is that something I really have to be doing? So for the rest of this week, I guess that's probably a bit of my homework, is to find my mental clutter. So that's writing down those mental reminders that I have bopping around in my head. Experiment 2 is looking at my transition fatigue and how I can reduce that. Adding one additional pause during my day. Figuring out what that's going to be, when I'm going to put it in my day, and actually following through on that. And then distinguishing things I want to do versus things I have to do. So that, I feel like this is not going in the direction I thought it would. Like I said, I totally thought this was going to be me, like, I don't know, optimizing my life and figuring out how to get more done in the course of a day. And it's kind of going in the opposite direction, which props to ChatGPT for identifying what I actually probably need in my life, especially given that I'm 3rd trimester pregnant right now. So that's that. It's going to be very hard for me, who's kind of like a productive, A-type, ambitious person. This is very hard. Probably something I need to learn as I head into motherhood as well, if I'm being completely honest. So there's that. And with all that being said, I'm going to head outside to my horse. One of the things that ChatGPT specifically said is not every session with your horse needs to be productive. You don't always need to be training. Like, I could go out there and just hang out with him. I'm going to go for a walk because I can't sit still. So we're going to go out for a walk because I've been sitting at my desk all day. But just knowing that that is okay. I am not wasting my horse. This is just the season we're in. He's more than fine if I just walk him. Even if I don't walk him and he is just a pasture ornament for the time being, that is okay too. So we're gonna go get some sunshine and ponder some of this stuff, especially this intentional pause. I feel like I need that. I just need to figure out how to go about it. So some food for thought as I go hang out with my pony. So as you guys saw this morning, I tried ChatGPT's first experiment, which was to basically do nothing. And I went and sat on my deck, looked at the pond, listened to the birds, and while I was sitting there, I was like, this is great. I could really see how I could kind of like set the tone for my day by chilling out and just taking a breath before I go to work. And then my brain also kicked in and said, you should be editing a YouTube video right now. If you don't edit in the mornings, when are you going to edit your YouTube videos? So that kind of ruined the moment, as you can imagine. And then when I got to work, I opened up a Coil notebook and had it ready so that I could do my mental clutter brain dump. And by the end of the day, I had 3 or 4 items on the list, which is good. But it occurred to me that a lot of my mental clutter and racing thoughts occur in the morning. Like, I wake up and before my feet even hit the floor, I have a million things going through my head. And my morning is so jam-packed before I go to work that my strategy up to this point has been to put in my AirPods, put on a podcast so that I can listen to someone else's voice instead of whatever thoughts are racing through my mind, which I am fully aware is not a healthy coping strategy, but that's what we've been doing. So the experiments recommended by ChatGPT are not going great so far because apparently I can't just enjoy nice scenery, and I don't have a lot of mental clutter at work because I'm just focused at the task at hand. So apparently all of this is going to require some work. Another thing that occurred to me is that there was one experiment that ChatGPT didn't suggest, given that it knows I am a horse girl. If you've never worked with horses, horses are Like, there is the odd one that's psycho, don't get me wrong. But for the most part, and especially horses that I buy and work with, they have this like old soul mentality to them that I really need to feed off of. Like this guy here, Diesel, he is a chill dude, and I need to just soak up some of that energy because I think that would be good for me as well. So that's what we're gonna do now. We're outside. It is so freaking humid, and I'm tired, and I'm pregnant, and I'm just, but we're gonna go, I think we'll just go for a walk and see what we can get up to. Coming over for a visit. Are you hot? Are the bugs bugging you? Oh dear Lord, what did you do to your mane? He found a burr bush. Those are burrs in his mane. Great look, buddy. Great look. These are terrible to get out. They hurt, they stick. We're not dealing with this today. I'm not in the mood to deal with this today. We're going for a walk. This week surprisingly reminded me that I don't necessarily need more hours in the day. I need more margin in them. I'm definitely still figuring out what that looks like, but I'd love to know if you've ever felt the same way and what you've done about it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.